everyone. I'm about to introduce to you author Rea Frey, and we're going to be talking about her brand new book called Not Her Daughter that comes out today. Okay, and you're looking at the cover right here. I love this book so much, and I had such an amazing talk with Rea, so I can't wait to share it with everybody. I can't wait to put it all over social media because you should go out and get this book. Okay, everybody, here is Rea. Hi everyone, I am so excited because I am speaking with author Rea Frey, and we are talking about her debut novel called Not Her Daughter, and she has the copy of it, which I haven't seen, and I love that. I love that cover. Oh, this book is so good. I couldn't believe it was your debut novel. I actually just found out today because I went to write everything up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is her, because I knew you had written other books, but it's your debut novel, and that must be so exciting.
So exciting. Been waiting for it for a long time.
And you know what? I went on Goodreads today, and there's already at least 100 reviews. I mean, and this book comes out, as we're speaking, it's coming out this week, but we're talking a little ahead of time. But I was like, wow, what a great build-up for this book for you. I was just very excited.
Thank you. I am too.
Yeah, so what a concept. Okay, you did such a great job with this. I was loving it. I love the different points of view, and I love how you ended the last line of the first chapter. I have been doing that over and over again. I read an entire book, and then I go back and read the first chapter, and so that last line is the last line I read, and it is amazing how that is like changing my reading. And your last three words were, "We move on," and I was like, oh my God, that is so amazing. Like, it sums it up. It sums up the whole story, and I was just so excited. And that last line, for everybody who's on Kindle, and it's like they have 100 books downloaded. They're gonna read that first chapter, and that last line, I feel like, takes them to chapter 2, and they're like, yes, I'm sticking with this book. So I just had to tell you that it was brilliant.
I totally planned it that way. No.
I know. Don't you want to be like, I knew it.
Yeah. Just plotting for months. Like that.
Okay, so I'm going to let you tell everybody this story because I don't want to give anything away, and and then we'll talk from what I hear from you.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of always sum up the book just like in one sentence, but I always say it's about a woman who kidnaps a 5-year-old to save her from her mother. So it's kind of this reverse kidnapping story, a kidnapping for good, quote unquote, if there is such a thing. So I really wanted readers to kind of question their own morals and take a very black and white subject and start to like wonder about it and see if they even start sympathizing with the kidnapper.
Interesting. And I love that concept. And I know your mom.
I am a mom, yes. She's mine. I did not kidnap her. She's mine.
You gave birth to her. That's good.
Yes, it's good.
And I have 6 children. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and some of them are closer together than others. And I have to tell you, like, okay, so Emma's the little girl. And then we have the points of view from Sarah, who is the kidnapper. And Amy, who is her mom. And I have to tell you, like, as I'm reading Amy, like, you get sympathetic to her.
She's my favorite character because I think she's real. And when I was kind of writing this book, I mean, I kind of saw Sarah, who is not a parent, so she's a little bit entitled to think she knows what's best for a child.
Right.
But, that's kind of like the best case scenario with how you treat a child. To Amy, the day-to-day mom, she's super run down, she's unhappy. And that's kind of the worst moments of being a mom. And if you're a mother, I think you sympathize and empathize with both characters, but Amy specifically. I mean, I saw a lot of myself and her on my really bad parenting days, I think we've all been there.
We've all been there. And you know what? When I see it now, because my youngest is 15, and if I'm in a mall or an airport like we see in the beginning, and I see a mom kind of losing it, I always want to like hug her.
Exactly.
And be like, you know what? I know it's bad. Like, I know, but they grow up so fast. Like, this is a blink of an eye as opposed to, because when you're in it, when you're there, like you get, and I know I've gotten judgmental looks when I disciplined my children, in the grocery store, and, you get those, and, people looking, and, and you're like, look, you don't even know, okay? You don't even know.
No, exactly. And that's what I kind of wanted to question was, Amy, was this mom having a bad day, or is she a bad mom? And who are we to even say that? But I kind of wanted to just take that question and apply it to the reader and kind of see if they could draw their own conclusions from it.
Yeah, my mom was 17 when she had me. And then
Oh,
she
wow.
was 19 when she had my brother. And that was it. And now
Yeah.
as a mom, like I look back on her parenting when I was little and I realized like she was a teenage. Like sometimes we just don't know. Like,
Completely.
you know, she didn't know what she was doing, you know,
Yeah.
and I can be really sympathetic. Like she was a teenager. She had a teenager. We were more sisters than mother daughter, you know.
So my parents, same thing. My mom and dad were 18 when they had my brother, and then 22 when they had me, and they're still together. But they were awesome. I mean, it's funny. I think a lot of people think I had a terrible mother from this book. I'm like, I had the best mother. She was, I mean, just generous to a fault. But I actually think it served her very well being a young mom. I mean, they didn't know what they were getting into. They went with the flow, and now I had my daughter at 30, and it's different. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
It's when you're older. Yeah. So I kind of think it's like a 20-something-year-old. Like that's your prime to be a parent. Not necessarily, but you know, energy wise, I'd say that.
Energy-wise. Yeah, my last child was born when I was 38, but my first one I was 22. So I knew, you know, like
Yeah, you have a spectrum.
I do. And, you know, pregnancy and everything like is so
Yeah.
different in that time. But I do think 30 was my best. Like
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, it's been a blast. I mean, my daughter's 6 now. It's so much fun.
Yeah. But I love the questions at the end of the book, and of course the ending we aren't going to talk about, but like it just blows you away. But I love the questions you have for book clubs because I think this is a perfect book club book.
I agree. I mean, it's very polarizing. I've even seen it from reader reviews. Like some readers love it, some readers are like offended by it, or you know, I mean, you know, it's a very I don't know. It's a polarizing topic. I think in general. I mean, kidnapping, and then you have mother-daughter relationships. So I think there'll be a lot of fun conversations around it.
Yeah. And what made you think of this, like, as you were coming up with this story? Because it is your debut, so I'm, you know, and I love on your website. Everybody go to her website. I love a good website, and I love how you like gave yourself 60 days, but you did it in 30. Like you came up with the whole. So did you have it? Was it like boiling in your brain?
So before this novel, I went to school for fiction writing at Columbia in Chicago, but then I abandoned it for nonfiction. I got into journalism. I had some nonfiction books published, but I've always wanted to write fiction. So once I became a mom, I started paying attention to like mother-daughter relationships specifically, and kind of what you were just talking about. Like I'd be at the grocery store and see this toxic exchange, or you know, at the playgrounds, different things like that. And so I kind of started to have this idea, like, oh, I wonder if I could write a story about a reverse kidnapping. And I knew what I wanted the characters' names to be. I kind of knew the premise, and then I was actually on a work trip in an airport, and the scene that makes it into the book is a scene that I actually saw because I couldn't get this little girl out of my head. But I saw this exchange between mother and daughter. There's a little girl in a red dress, red bow, red shoes. You know, she looked adorable. And I knew I wanted the little girl's name to be Emma, and this little girl's name was Emma. And I was like, this is a sign to write this book. But I wanted to just save this little girl. I mean, her mother, little girl wasn't doing anything. And at first I wanted to empathize with the mom, like, oh, we've all been there, right? But man, she was just so aggressive and physical with her child. And I thought about this little girl for weeks, and I kind of got the story. Went home. I was working 3 jobs at the time. I did something totally irresponsible that I would never suggest anyone do, but I quit 2 of my jobs that very week because I'm kind of like an all-in type of person. And I had 8 weeks left on this corporate content management contract, and I gave myself 8 weeks to write it, and I wrote it in a month. And I didn't worry about, I mean, I kind of wrote it by the seat of my pants. I didn't really probably go about it the right way in terms of plotting and outlining and things like that, but it just kind of, I always say it kind of wrote me. I mean, it came out so quickly, got a great agent, landed a 2-book deal with St. Martin's. I mean, it was just kind of a crazy whirlwind dream scenario, and it's been awesome. ever
Yeah.
since.
It really is, and I think it gives so much hope to writers out there
Totally.
because I see the people who are leaving little blurbs on your Amazon. I mean, who I've interviewed a lot of them, and I know what kind of writers they are, and I'm like, wow, for this to be a debut novel, you got some great backing. You've got, I mean, it is possible, and it's possible to do. It's not just like a pipe dream, and I love talking to authors like you because I know there's the other way, and I know that's hard, and there is that, but then to see that you can do it. And if the story is there, if the
Yeah.
story is something that is right there at the top of your head like that, and like you said, kind of given to you on a, like write this,
Absolutely. And I knew if I didn't write it, like somebody else would. You know how ideas are. It's
Yeah.
like if I sat with it for 6 months or a year, like, oh, it's not the right time. And I just didn't give myself a plan B. I mean, I knew I was going to get this published. I did not second guess myself and just kind of went for it.
That's
and
awesome.
It worked. Thank God.
And it worked. And not only do you do the two different points of view, but you do timeline. You have a timeline, and it's before, during, after timeline.
Yeah.
And do you have any advice for other authors that do that? Because I always look at it like, oh my gosh, when you have two different points of view and you've got three timelines going, like.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you something interesting about that. Thank God for my agent. So when I wrote this, I did write it. I kind of wanted to write it in snapshots. I saw this book as a film when I was writing it, and we did close a movie option deal with it, which is so exciting.
That's
very
exciting.
excited about that. But I just kind of saw it happening in my head, these before, during, and after the kidnapping. But the first draft did not have Amy in it at all. The entire book was from Sarah's point of view. And when I got my agent, we started talking about the mom and how important that was to have her in there. So it was a totally different book without Amy's perspective, without the mom's perspective.
Right.
So I'm just thankful we brought that in. And I think it just lends an element of suspense because you definitely want to know what happens next, but you have to kind of go through the backstory a little bit before you can get back to the action. And I personally love reading books like that because it just keeps me turning pages.
Yeah, the short chapters.
Yeah.
Like, I love short chapters.
Because I wish I had shortened some more. I'm trying to do that for all my subsequent books. I'm reading David Bell's Somebody's Daughter right now. I saw your interview with him. Yeah. Like, short chapters. This is the best. Like,
yeah. Did you see when I told him that?
Yo, totally. Yep.
Yeah. And he was like, yay, because he was like so excited because I'm like, oh no, it was perfect. Because especially for thrillers, especially for suspense, because I sat down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read a chapter, and 5 more chapters in, I'm like, oh, good. Okay, well,
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a brilliant strategy. I love it.
Yeah, and that last line to carry you into the, so you don't want to put it down.
Exactly.
It's like, no, I just one more. Oh, I know they're short, so I can just do one more. And then before you know it, you're done. And it's, no, I love that. I mean, I thought, let's look at this cover again because, it means so much more after you read the book, of course. But, okay, and I see the kids. See, because I could only see it on my phone, and I'm like, I really wanted to look at it.
Yeah.
I love the children playing in the background. I mean, were you really excited about this cover?
Oh, I remember I was sitting in a park when I got the email of the cover, and it kind of took my breath away. I mean, I was just like, it was creepy but beautiful, and just kind of exactly what I imagined. So I think it's a cover that stands out for sure.
Yeah, it summed it right up. Okay, so you have a 2-book deal. I just want to quick get this in. First of all, congratulations. I saw this as a movie. I saw this as a movie, and I'm so excited for you. And just so everybody knows, we're talking weeks before this book comes out, so it is so exciting. But anyway, so what is next? Like, you have a 2-book. I mean, when is it going to come out? Do you have a date?
I do. So if all goes well, I think we'll try to stay on the book a year trajectory. My second edits for the second book are due August 5th. And then we'll start to get into production probably for the second book, and then hopefully come out next August.
Yeah, well, and this is a pretty exciting time because you're doing all the pre-book, and then you're going to have the book release and get to do signings and all that fun stuff that you worked so hard for,
So it still doesn't feel real, but it's starting to. I mean, obviously. It's here.
Yeah, right. So I think the book a year is really doable, especially when you're a mom and you have other things going on. I think that because like I said, one book kind of takes you into the next and takes you into the next. So I am so excited for you. So everybody, I am going to have all her links listed below, especially that very important Amazon link, which you're going to be able to hit, go right to Amazon, and you'll have it immediately. And I am so glad that I got to read this book. So happy.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know where to find me for the next one. I will definitely read it again.
Love it.
And I'll be, I don't have to say goodbye because I'll be on social media. We'll be, I'll be out there, right there with you on this book release day. So I'm very excited for you. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone for watching my interview with Rea. Isn't she amazing? I love her so much. Head over to my Instagram and you can win a copy of this book that comes out today. All the links are listed below. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit like, because that'd make me so happy if you do. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I post videos every single day. Thanks, guys.